So we are going to be planting up my tropical alleyway today. And I'm calling it the tropical alleyway because this is where I usually plant um, my tropicals in containers. So my cannas, my elephant ears. And this year I'm adding palms. So it'll be really exciting. The palms are the first thing that we are going to plant. They are the biggest plant that I have right now that's um, going to be planted today. So the palms are going to go into these gray containers, and then everything else will go into these other containers. So we'll have the gray containers on the outside, these orange containers, and then this bigger container in the middle. Um, I've already started working on the soil for the palms. So I ended up going out and buying a bag of sand. This is paver sand down here. And then I'm going to use the Stay Green because I still have bags. And then we're going to amend it with plant tone, which I have already amended these two containers with plant tone. But these other containers will need amending as well. I'm going to add some sand to the palm pots because I read up before doing this video what palms actually need potted in a substrate. So I got some sand to add to make it more free draining is the right word. So the sand should help with that. I'm gonna mix it in to what's already here, and then I'm gonna mix it into what I add on the top. So we've already got soil in here, we've got plant tone in here. So now it's time to add our sand, and then we'll put our plants in the pots. Sand is a great additive for many plants. It is great for drainage. So definitely think about that when you're potting up tropicals this summer and spring. It's a little difficult to get it out of the pot. Might just cut it. See where my pruners are. All right, she's free. Nice big juicy roots. Look at that. Oh. Whoop. All right, let me just take a look at how this looks and make sure I do like it in this spot. I'm gonna move it out just a bit. I need to prune this a little bit, but I'll do that after I'm done planting it in. Goodness, this thing is huge. Wow. Okay, so now I'm going to zhuzh up the sides of this a bit so that it will root out and grow. And then I'm going to add some soil in. Now, these are going to be single plant pots. I'm not planting anything else with this because I want this plant to get every bit of water, every bit of nutrients that I add to this soil, and I don't want it to have to compete or have any other smaller plants compete for food and water in this container. I'm adding soil only up to the level of where the soil line is already for this plant. So I'm not planting it, planting the soil up here. I'm not even planting the soil at the level of the pot. It's at the level where the soil is for the actual plant. Now you can cover it with a little bit of soil. If you see roots sticking out at the top, definitely cover those up, but don't go overboard and create a soil volcano around this plant. So now I'm just mixing in the sand with the soil and pulling out any like long roots or anything from prior plantings. This is soil that I have reused or already used, so I'm just zhuzhing it up for the season. So it's got fertilizer and it's got biotone, it's got compost in it already, so it should be good to go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this other palm out of its pot. Alrighty, time to lift and drop. Oh. All right, let's twist you around to my liking. All right. Actually, this plant is a little bit higher in the pot than that one. So I'm going to take this one out and drop it a little bit lower so that it's below the rim. Okay, let's see how this does. All right, it's lower. So we'll just leave it at that. Zhuzh it up a little bit around the sides. This is going to be an annual in my garden, so it's not something that has to, it just has to perform for the season. And then at the end of the season, we'll decide what we're going to do with it. I don't think it'll fit in my house by the end of the season for sure. So we'll see if somebody else wants it, or we'll end up maybe cutting it back, like cutting it down like here and trying to overwinter it in my basement. But we'll see. That's a lot to take on. So yeah. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead and move this soil down. Tropical plants love a free draining soil mix, which is why this sand is so important, because it will be similar to what this plant would be kind of growing in anyway if it were in its native environment. Somebody definitely laid an egg and won't stop screaming about it. I get it, but yeah. All right, that one's planted. Looks great. Let's add a little bit of soil to the top of both of these. Actually, I'm gonna dump this in this container. Because that needs soil. But we'll go ahead and dump some sand on top of both of these. And this sand will work its way down into the soil as the plant is watered. That will move down into the pot. On these two. Okay, next plants that I'm going to plant out in these two are my cannas. One pot of canna per container. Since I usually plant my cannas in these, there's a lot of space in there for them through the season. I usually pack a bunch in. This time I'm just going to do a pot per container. If I can squeeze a small one in there, I might do that, but let's just see how they're looking. They're right over here. Okay. These two actually look really good for single containers, and they're pretty beat up right now because of the hailstorm we had not too long ago, but they will rebound. So let's see. Might be able to put something small in here as well, but for now we're going to start with the sky. See about pulling him out without hurting him. Come on. There we go. Come on, just slide on. Ooh, look at those roots. Gorgeous. All right, get in there. They look so squatty compared to the palms. That's okay. Perfect. All right. Now we're gonna pop the other one over here. Yeah, I might have to cut this one because it's a little tight and I don't want to damage anything. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Perfect. Perfect. All right, now let's see if we got some smaller ones that we can pop in there too. These are two that I have in smaller containers that I can probably get in here also. So let's do that. Just to pack a little bit more punch in here. Put this one on this side. Okay. Now let's go ahead and fill this one. Now backfill this one with soil. All right, let's see if we can squeeze this one in someplace. Alrighty, those are in. Nice and snug at that. So I don't think we will be able to plant this one today. I don't like, this is my last bag of soil, so I'll need to get more. So we won't plant this middle one today, but we will come back in another video and plant this for you. And this one is gonna have elephant ears in it. Ooh, this is a mess. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and dump the rest of this soil in here for now, so we can go get some more. But this Stay Green soil has been awesome. I bought it when it was $2.46 a bag. Bought a bunch of bags, and they have lasted me for so long. So we're all planted. We got our palms planted, and we got 2 canna pots planted. The cannas look really bad because of the hail storm we had, and they're a little bit shredded, but they will bounce back with proper care. They'll be fine. They'll get huge again, and they'll be good. So here's the palms. But before I let you go, I want to show you my clematis that's in bloom right over here. I just noticed it, and it's so pretty. It's starting to open. This is clematis midori. Look at that bloom. Gorgeous blooms on this. So pretty. Look at that. This is my favorite clematis in my garden. I have a few clematises. I don't, I'm not like super into them, but I like the ones that I have, if that makes sense. So these are all opening up, and they're gorgeous. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I got the palms from Lowe's on clearance. They were 50% off. The cannas I grew from tubers that I ordered from Etsy, and tubers that I saved from last year and the year prior. So let me know if you guys have any questions. There are videos about growing cannas from seed and growing canna tubers. So definitely check those out if you need help. But I'll see you guys in the next video.